Ruin Leon has another one. He knows his shit. He just loves to teach people not to be stupid, how not to be stupid. And I love watching him do it. This is a kind of a short one, I guess. So let's take a watch on Ruin Leon, and says begging people to take their lives will cost you your job. Imagine that.
I want to get something clear because it may get lost in translation throughout this video. You are all human beings who walk this earth and you deal with things that might make you a little upset, from places to buildings to people. And it might get you to want to voice your opinion about those said things and how much you don't like them or disagree with them. And you are free and clear to do that.
I agree. Yeah. And I do that myself. I like to state my opinion. It's not the only opinion, but I like to state my opinion. But I don't tell people to do stupid shit. That's something I won't do.
Is one problem. It's that you are doing that and broadcasting it online, where you will be subject to scrutiny, criticism, and other people's opinions. No matter how much you try to hide it, put it on a private story, it'll probably end up being seen by a bunch of people. So you might want to make sure that you dot your I's and cross your T's, because if you, for example, end up finding out that there's another country that is very displeased about your country's presidential leader to the point where they are signaling that they want him dead, and you see that and you cheer it on and pray that it may happen.
There's news in the world, guys.
This time it will not miss the target. Iran issues assassination threat against Trump. Ooh, that can't be good.
Sorry, we got a little too excited there. Guys, please.
You may come upon a very stupid moment where people recognize that you might have a uniform on, locate where you work, broadcast the phone number of your employer, and demand other people online call your employer and get you fired.
Oh, tell me it happened. Dear Propel families, we want to make you aware of a situation involving inappropriate social media content posted by 2 Propel employees regarding a news report about Iran and President Trump. As soon as this matter was brought to our attention, a formal investigation was initiated, and the employees have been placed on leave. Placed on leave? Fuck that. Fire them. Been placed on leave. We are taking this situation seriously and will take appropriate action based on the findings of that investigation. Any suggestions of harm or violence toward any human being is completely unacceptable, and does not reflect the values of Propel schools. We serve children and families, and professionalism, safety, and respect are expectations for all staff. Please know that this is a personal matter, and we are legally limited as to how much information we can share. We are committed to maintaining the trust you place in us every day. Thank you for your continued partnership and support as we manage this situation with the seriousness that it deserves.
And they end up putting you on leave.
I want to bring you to the find out portion of the game, because those 2 kindergarten teachers that decided to post this concerning Iran's threat at Donald Trump, hoping that this time around the bullet won't miss, they are currently on administrative leave. And that brings me to the next part. I want to thank Quinn Pratt for sending me this message and letting me know what had happened. And shortly after I received that message from him, I confirmed with the school's administration that this is, in case, the truth. None of this could have happened without your guys' support. And I also want to thank that follower that I have that sent me that video, because none of this could have been made possible without you specifically. So I appreciate you for keeping me in mind, and for every single one of you who have not gone overboard with making threats and doing all of this other stuff. I appreciate that, because I had some of you guys ask me, well, why don't you put all their information out there? Because I've done that in the past, and it led to things that I was not wanting it to lead to. So for that reason, I shared what I thought necessary to share in order to keep them safe.
Or you may be somebody who doesn't like what's currently going on with illegal immigrants and ICE and how it ended up with a woman dead, and you may voice your frustration about that, which is something you can do. But when you get into the conversation of wanting people to off themselves, that's going to be a moment where people see that, get very disgruntled, and call your employer and end up getting you in a position where you don't have a job anymore.
Hi, my name is Isa Obradovich, and on Tuesday, January 13th at around 11 in the morning, I was escorted out of my middle school art student teaching placement. I have a script that I'm going to be reading from because I want to be very careful with my words. On Tuesday, January 13th at around 11 in the morning, I was escorted out of my middle school art student teaching placement. I was informed that the district received several complaints from concerned parents about the video I posted the day before. In the video, I spoke about turning down a sponsorship from Wayfair as they sell beds to, quote, a government contractor furnishing a federal detention center for migrants near the U.S.-Mexico border, end quote.
I got a question. Have any of you guys that are not liberals ever seen a woman with a nose ring like that and immediately thought, God, I wish I had a 9-volt battery? Just asking.
In this video, I said, fuck ICE, and at the end of the video, I put up my middle finger while saying that I believe that ICE agents should kill. I could certainly have chosen my words better and avoided using vulgar language and gestures, but my stance remains firm. I stand on the side of humanity and will not endorse any institution who supports ICE.
You stand on the side of humanity, but you protect criminals that do not stand for humanity. Child rapists and murderers, drug dealers and gang members. So you're the good guy?
I've chosen to keep the video visible on my page. My values and actions are always rooted in a deep love for humanity, including love for my own community members as a first-generation child of French and Peruvian immigrants. Members of my community are actively being killed and kidnapped en masse by ICE, a rogue paramilitary force that answers to the child 34-time felon who is currently president of the United States. I stand by my message, even if my choice of verbiage could have been more tactful. For full transparency, I've posted the email I sent to the district yesterday following my termination. Thankfully, I have the privilege of not needing to student teach in order to graduate. I've chosen to not pursue another student teaching placement since I figured similar issues would arise considering the size of my audience on social media. I don't want to comprise neither my values nor those of any school district. I will graduate without licensure, which I was not planning on applying for anyways because I don't intend to teach in the United States for the foreseeable future. I have the full support of my professors, which I'm so grateful for. Since around January of last year, I have been making arrangements to move to France after I graduate in May 2026. I'm a dual citizen and have been speaking French since before I even learned to speak English. I'm going to be fine. I plan to work as an artist for at least a year before continuing on to grad school. Also, I have enough credits to have graduated last semester because I've just taken so many classes for fun because I love school and learning. I'm very lucky that my circumstances have made it so that this situation has no real material repercussions for me. Of course, I am really disappointed that I won't get to student teach. This is something that I've been working towards for the entire time that I've been studying art education as an undergraduate. I really did give it my all in the 5.5 days that I had in the classroom. I had an absolute blast, and this experience has affirmed that I do want to teach art and that this is the path for me. It's just really unfortunate that this is how the experience came to an end.
Wow. This is how you get trained to be stupid. You get trained how to be dumb. This is not only someone who has been taught how to be stupid and only listen to what you've been told, rather than look up information on your own to find out whether the information you've been taught is true. She's going to take the information she was taught not only as being factual and right, but she's going to disseminate it to other people and teach herself, more people, how to be stupid. So, Leon?
And when we talk about what's acceptable versus what is not acceptable, I'm never really going to have a problem with people being like, you know what? I don't like what's going on right there. I deem that to be unfair. I deem that to be unconstitutional. I deem that to be something that might end up with us being in a Gestapo. And I don't like how this is going. Versus, I hope all of these people who work for this end up slitting their wrist. One of these is an acceptable way to deal with conversation in the realm of criticizing something, and the other one sounds batshit insane. And when you broadcast both of these online, they're both going to be criticized. One of them is going to lead to a bunch of people trying to find out where you live. And I don't necessarily want that to happen to anybody. I could disagree with the apparatus of the world. I don't want to know where you live. I don't want to know your fucking phone number. I don't want to know anything about you except the point you're trying to make. And if you make it in a way that could make me say, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I could look into this. Oh my, that's perfect for me. But because I'm the boring motherfucker and it's more entertaining for people to be bombastic in the ways that they want to disagree, it leads to motherfuckers not recognizing that they live in a world where cancel culture is something a lot of people are in favor of, no matter how much they want to say that it's not fair that it happened to somebody that I respect.
I don't mind cancel culture. They came up with it. They came up with it. So if it backlashes on them, it just backlashes on them. So, yeah, turnabout's fair play. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Put whatever metaphor you want with it. But they invented it. They invented it. You say something we don't like, we're just going to make sure that you lose your job. We're going to make sure you never get another job and you get chastised off the internet and blah, blah, blah. Let it backfire.
And is on my political affiliation, because when you hear something you disagree with, you're going to want to silence it. You're going to want to find where they are, especially when they say something above and beyond. And it leads to more and more people feeling as though they can't speak out, or they feel as though they're going to start saying more shit in the hopes that maybe somebody will support them. And I've said it from jump. Your job, your employer, the place where you clock in and clock out to make money to provide for yourself or family or just anybody else, or somebody, maybe some type of charity of some sort, does not and will never care about your political affiliations, your romantic fetishes, your ways that you want to navigate how you watch anime. It don't matter. Once you do something that potentially jeopardizes their reputation or their bottom line, you're out of there. Unless you own the company or you fucking the owner of the company. You are not getting away with the shit you say. So in the future, could you please voice your disdain in a way that dots the I's and crosses the T's and doesn't end up with you without a job? Because now, in a job market where people are pretending that it's so good where anybody can find a job, you're now going to find out that these LinkedIn and Indeed ads are going to piss you the fuck off. Primarily because they lie to you. But in the meantime, I would recommend everyone subscribe to the channel and let me know. Do you think it's acceptable for people to be fired based on opinions that are over the fucking top? Or are you okay with people disagreeing as long as they don't go over the top? Because quite frankly, I'm perfectly fine with people despising ICE. But once we start talking about how we want motherfuckers to take their own lives, welcome to the consequences of the actions you put forth once you broadcast your opinions online.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And you got to go watch Ruined Leon. Because Ruined Leon is a smart little fucker, man. He's about 26 from my understanding. I got kids older than him. But he is a smart fucking dude. And he He just loves teaching people how not to be stupid. And I agree with him more often than I don't. So you go ahead and go on over there and subscribe and tell him Dell's Delusion sent you. And let him know, we're watching and we like what we see. And I agree with this for sure. You can disagree with ICE, but when you start telling people they need to fucking off themselves, or if you start telling people to do stupid shit that's going to get them killed, like, go, 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 drive, 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 and fucking bang, 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 the next thing you know, you're dead. That's probably not a good idea.